Mo. Now, today we're back in with another reaction video. Today, we are reacting to creepy things that were normal in the medieval times. Now, I'm not completely sure who this video is by, but I think he knows who he is. No further ado, we're going to just get into the video. You know what I'm saying?
This video is sponsored by Hunting Clash, a next-generation free PvP hunting simulator and shooting mobile game, available on iOS and Android. If humanity could be summed up in one single person, the Middle Ages would be that awkward teen phase that we all look back at and cringe and think, how could we have lived like that? Lower classes were oppressed and filthy. Leaders waged wars on insignificant slights. Plagues were raging, and people believed in superstitions and rumors about monsters, and women being witches. Welcome to Nutty History, and today, let's look back at what creepy things were normal during the Middle Ages of Europe. Among many other things, law and order was not as well defined in the Middle Ages as we have today. In fact, Middle Ages law was more than loosey-goosey. They were bizarre, wild, and downright bonkers sometimes. Some people were let off from trials if they managed to assemble enough people to swear about the accused's innocence at risk of being smitten by God, while others had to walk barefoot on hot plowshares to prove their innocence. Now, surely viewers are also aware of trial by combat, where the accuser and the accused would either fight or joust to death to prove who done it. Even animals were not an exception to this trial business. It wasn't a kangaroo court, but an entire zoo. Animals were held morally accountable for crimes like assault.
What type of shit, bruh? Yo, what? That's crazy.
Even murder started in 824, and the practice continued well into modern times until the 18th century. Animals found guilty of their crimes would often be either burned alive or hanged. If that wasn't possible, they'd be ordered to leave town at a certain day and time. Yes, that happened, and it was a big deal.
Y'all did that shit with the animals again?
Chassany made a name
was treating us like humans. I can't imagine what y'all was doing.
In 1587, weevils were taken to court for invading St. Julian, France.
What? Eds, bro. The fuck? Hey, bro, go ahead with this shit, bro. Trash ass beats.
But again, these were medieval times, and they didn't have much going on for them to entertain themselves. Any animal courts were their version of Judge Judy. Fortunately, today, we don't have to resort to such antics for quality leisure time. But we are lucky to be able to entertain ourselves by testing out Metal and Hunting Clash, a next-generation relationships.
Don't do this shit, bro.
Who's a good boy? Yes, you. Yes, you are. The game is so easy to learn. It's like learning history with Nutty History. Just prepare your gun, aim, and shoot. Use our gift code HuntWithNutty to unlock special rewards.
Yo, bro. Stop this shit, man.
Remember the witch trial from Monty Python and the Holy Grail? Well, it may be very well written as a slapstick joke, but it also wasn't very far from reality. Imagine this. The year is 897, and Pope Stephen VI has ordered the 8-month-old corpse of his predecessor removed from its vault at St. Peter's. The former and very dead Pope is clad in his old pontifical vestments, placed on a throne in a Roman basilica, and put on trial. In this turbulent time, when the Pope's chair became vacant in 872,
oh my god, the medieval niggas was retarded, man. They had no brains, bro. They had like, this is how many brain cells they had. Actually, boom.
Popular candidate Formosus got snubbed, and the papacy went to his political rival.
How you gonna put a dead nigga on trial? What the fuck is wrong with you, bro? Okay, man.
Now, the new pope nearly killed Formosus' career by convicting him of treachery, conspiring, and desertion after Formosus fled Rome. 9 years and 3 popes later, they were dropping dead like ripe fruit on a heavy tree. Formosus became the first excommunicant to be elected pope in 891.
Bro, is that nigga look dead, bro? I know I'm not tripping right now.
Formosus persuaded Arnulf of Carinthia to cross the Alps and seize the city of Rome by force in February 896. The next day, Arnulf was crowned new emperor by Pope Formosus. However, Formosus couldn't enjoy the political advantage he created for long, as he died of a stroke 2 months later. After Arnulf left Rome,
bro, was he not dead? What the wait, bro, what am I looking at right now? Like, I'm actually confused as hell. I'm not even
They
gonna
put
lie.
pressure on the new Pope, Stephen VI, to put Formosus on
Was he
trial for
dead?
a list of alleged crimes. Pope Stephen called a meeting of bishops and cardinals. A synod and church age removed the shroud from the corpse, dressed it in pontifical vestments, put a crown on its skull, and propped what's left of Formosus up on a throne in the Basilica
Oh,
of
he
St.
was actually fucking dead. Yo, these niggas is vicious in medieval times,
What
bro.
followed was total drama and nuts. The public and fellow bishops stared in horror as a self-appointed prosecutor, Pope Stephen VI, raved and screamed insults at the corpse. The poor corpse couldn't answer any of the questions because he was, dead. Stephen VI declared the silence of the deceased pope was an admission of guilt.
What the fuck,
Guards stepped forward to carry out the sentence. The 3 fingers
of
the corpse that Formosus once used for blessings were removed.
Bro, I just want to... let's really go back and look at this shit, though, bro. Let's really go back and look at this shit real quick. What the fuck is this shit, bro? Are you serious right now? Y'all don't see that in, like, right there? Oh, this is definitely something wrong with this nigga. It's a fucking no-brainer, man.
Blessings were removed. The papal crown
fucking
was removed,
retarded.
and the papal garments were stripped off.
That's the...
Yo,
that is known as the retarded cut, bro. No-brainer cut, bro.
The body of Formosus was unceremoniously tossed into the Tiber River.
The fact that y'all tried to put a dead nigga on trial is actually crazy.
A 12-year-old shepherd boy named Stephen proclaimed that Christ had ordered him to march to the Holy Land and conquer it. History records show that Stephen somehow managed to meet King Philip of France to ask for his support for his mission. Philip treated him rationally and told the kid to go back home. But Stephen was dead set to assemble an army and march to the Holy Land. He began preaching his mission in towns and cities, and he managed to recruit a band of faithful children, and soon the little army was ready to go on a crusade. The number of kids joining the cause of young shepherd Stephen wasn't just enough to fill a school bus. There were thousands of children who were willing to put their life on the line for God under the command of Stephen and another child leader named Nicholas. The younglings departed, and though it's not clear what actually happened to them, the little crusaders never returned home. It's speculated that some drowned when the ships they'd hired to take them closer to the Holy Land were wrecked. Other ships with children were taken to Egypt, and the children boarded on them were condemned to a life of slavery instead of to the righteous war they'd planned on. Some even made it to Rome, and while it's assumed some of Nicholas' crusade may have made it as far as the Holy Land, history has essentially forgotten their chronicles. To be honest, this baffling tale leaves us with only one question. How come their parents allowed them to go in the first place?
The Season of the Witch.
A lot of people associate witch hunts with the Middle Ages, but the truth is, witch hunts actually peaked during the 16th and 17th centuries, that is the early modern period. However, the hunt for the witches did indeed begin in the last years of the 15th century, which were also the last few years of the Middle Ages. In 1484, Pope Innocent VIII, who could be awarded for probably having the most ironic name in human history, kicked off the season of the witch with a papal bull. According to the decree, Innocent VIII blamed witches for the Little Ice Age as cold caused crop failures, which led to mass starvation and crimes. Heinrich Kramer and Jacob Springer were also mentioned in the decree as the Pope's personal witch hunters. The following years saw witches blamed for irregular and weird weather phenomena. Men and women were accused of...
I ain't even gonna lie, yo. That is some Shrek Bro knowledge. Y'all remember Shrek Bro? That one scene where he had like 3 witches chasing after him and Donkey Bro. He was trying to find these niggas and take them back to Rumpelstiltskin and shit. That's exactly what this reminds me of, bro.
Conjuring storms and causing misery to everyone's lives. This led to torture, sometimes trials, but mostly executions. Ironically, a few centuries ago, church scholar John of Salisbury argued in 1159 that anyone who believed in witches was simple-minded and faithless. So, what changed the church's stance about them?
Stop taking me
bro,
notes.
Get the fuck out my face, man.
Do it for you.
Go ahead, bro.
You to focus on your meeting.
Fuck out my face, dude. Somehow.
On December 12, 1098, Crusaders terminated Muslim soldiers and civilians alike in the city of Marra. It came at the end of a long siege, and around 20,000 people were decimated after being promised mercy. But the conquerors were not faring well either. The cold winter had dwindled their supplies, and starvation led them to make a horrifying choice. Contemporary historians wrote that the scarcity of food forced crusaders to consume defeated foes to vanquish their own hunger. This wasn't the only time when humanity had to stoop to this sort of despicable diet. Now, according to historians, famines of 695, 936, and 1022 made British and Irish farmers resort to consuming their neighbors instead of their cattle. Egyptians did the same during the famine of 1201 and also pickled their leftovers just in case they don't have anything to eat next year. Between 1315 and 1318, around 15% of Europe's population succumbed to starvation, and those who survived couldn't have done it without their freshly deceased neighbors. Middle Ages and death are two terms that go hand in hand. Life in that period was miserable and offered very little except wars, famines, plagues, tithe collectors, and lifelong serfdom to the majority of people, with a splash of mostly incurable diseases. So it's not odd that eventually people found beauty in dying, for there was nothing else around them. Ars moriendi, or the art of dying, was all the rave back then. With Black Death raging across Europe, the idea revolved around dying a good Christian death. They believed that death should be planned and peaceful. It was also necessary that when they were about to kick the bucket, they must accept death, like Christ, without despair, disbelief, impatience, pride, or covetousness. Dying well was particularly popular with the priesthood, which led to many of the infamous medieval paintings of monks and holy men accepting their decimation with calm serenity. So, do you think we missed any rarely known creepy detail about the Middle Ages? Tell us in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching Nutty History.
Damn. I ain't even gonna lie, that was a crazy ass video. Those niggas was crazy as shit in the medieval times. And yet, y'all realize this, bro? I'm pretty sure there was no black people. I'm not gonna say it was no black people, but like over there though, where they was at, Europe, I think that's definitely Europe. Something like that. Europeans, that's what you said? Like you said? I'm retarded. I YouTube, I just peep, bro. Like, they got a whole thing where I'm not supposed to be saying that word. So, like, yeah, if I take the video, then I take the video and re-edit it. But, yeah, shit. This was not what I expected to see in the video, but, the white niggas was crazy. We bipping, y'all. Damn.